Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rajganj College's e-learning portal. We are happy to introduce e-learning sessions for all our students who cannot attend college amid this crisis. COVID-19 has attacked the world, and it is a pandemic which is spreading like wildfire. In order to contain it, the Honorable Government of India and the state government have decided that the best possible route is to observe complete lockdown. And in the very first stage, schools and colleges were locked down to save and protect the future generations of India. Therefore, it is a great loss, of course, academically, but it need not be if we decide to stay at home and study. It is our primary duty to study, and what can be a better time to study than this lockdown period? So, today I am going to help out my SEM 4 students with CC 10. And the topic that I am going to teach today is Christina Rossetti's. So, who was Christina Georgina Rossetti, who wrote the poem Goblin Market? She was one of the brothers and sisters of the Rosetti group, who were primarily called the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Christina Rossetti was born in 1830 and she died in 1894. Now, before I proceed into telling you who Christina Rossetti was or what she wrote, let me also tell you something about the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. It was basically a group of English painters, poets, and art critics, founded in 1848 by William Holman Hunt, John Everett Milius, and Dante Gabriel Rossetti. They were joined by William Michael Rossetti, James Collinson, Frederick George Stephens, and Thomas Woolner to form the 7-member brotherhood. Now, what was this group's intention? The group's intention was to reform art by rejecting what it considered the mechanistic approach first adopted by Mannerist artists who succeeded Raphael and Michelangelo. Its members believed that classical poses and elegant compositions of Raphael in particular had been a corrupting influence on the academic teaching of art, hence the name Pre-Raphaelite. That is, whatever Raphael used to paint, they did not like that. They were against whatever Raphael used to paint. In particular, the group objected to the influence of Sir Joshua Reynolds, founder of the English Royal Academy of Arts, whom they called Sir Sloshua. To the Pre-Raphaelites, according to William Michael Rossetti, sloshy meant anything lax or scamped in the process of painting, and hence anything or person of commonplace or conventional kind. So anything very commonplace was, according to them, not fit for the subject of art. So that means they wanted to have something extraordinary, something out of the monotonous ordinary life that we are so used to see. So basically to them, art meant a romantic outlook to ordinary life. Okay, now let me tell you about the magazine called The Germ, which was actually meant to propagate the ideas and views of the Pre-Raphaelite movement. The Germ, Thoughts Towards Nature in Art and Literature. This is the entire title of the periodical. It was published in 1850 and it was established by the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood to disseminate their ideas. It survived for 4 issues between January and April 1850. It was renamed Art and Poetry in its last 2 issues. The mission of Germ was, but is intended to enunciate the principles of those who, in the true spirit of art, enforce a rigid adherence to the simplicity of nature, either in art and poetry. So they wanted to project simplicity in art and poetry, though of course they did not want it to be ordinarily projected. Now let me introduce you to Christina Rossetti's brother called Dante Gabriel Rossetti. He wrote poems like My Sister's Sleep, The Blessed Damozel, The Bride's Prelude, On Mary's Portrait, Jenny, Dante at Verona, and etc. There were many poems that he wrote. And in his introductory sonnet to the House of Life, Rosetti wrote something very interesting. He wrote, a sonnet is a moment's monument, memorial from the soul's eternity to one deathless hour. Such beautiful lines. He tells us that a sonnet is created in a moment, and though it is created in a moment, it travels to eternity, to the deathless hour. How beautiful. So let us now move into our prime subject here, that is Christina Gabriel Rossetti's Goblin Market. Now let us see how did Christina Rossetti start her poetic career. She published her first 2 poems, Death's Chill Between and Heart's Chill Between, in the Athenaeum in 1848 when she was 18, and she wrote under a pseudonym which was Ellen Alleyne. Her most famous collection, however, is obviously Goblin Market and Other Poems, which was published in 1862. So she basically comes during the Victorian period, though particularly their segment is referred to as the Pre-Raphaelite Brotherhood. Rossetti, now I'm going to tell you about the background, that means how she was inspired to write this poem called The Goblin Market. Rosetti was a volunteer worker from 1859 to 1870 at the St. Mary Magdalene House of Charity in Highgate. It was a refuge for former prostitutes, and it is suggested Goblin Market may have been inspired by the fallen women she came to know. Now, when I tell you the subject matter of the poem, then you will perhaps connect even more to what I just told you. Now let me